what's going on? It's Ryan. I just wanted to talk a little bit today about a specific camera that at first I had some trouble with, but after using it for a little while and reading up some manuals online, I was able to finally figure it out and got some photos back today recently that came out really good using it, and I wanted to go over the camera and a couple of the photos. That camera is the Contax T2. This is a simple point and shoot. It is a great camera. At first, I was a little disappointed by it. I was not getting good results out of it. Everything was getting either really blurry, out of focus, not sharp, and I just wasn't enjoying it. But after I did some reading up online and looked at some manuals that you can find, and I'll actually leave a link to the manual below because it really helps me understand what I was doing wrong and what I needed to do right to make the camera work properly for me. It's a point and shoot. It's a simple, just pop the film in there, bring the lead over a little, close it, and it does it all for you. It has a digital indicator up here that tells you how many shots you've taken. To unlock it, to get it going, all you have to do is turn this, and you have a Zeiss lens that comes out. It goes from f2.8 all the way up to 16. It has a flash built into it, and it is technically a rangefinder. And we remember a rangefinder is a camera that doesn't really use that optical. When you look out of here, you're not actually looking through the lens, you're looking through a rangefinder, and you have to line it up perfectly in the middle or you're gonna get a blurry photo. I actually found that out the hard way when I took a photo of my good friend Evan, and the background was really sharp, but he was a little blurry. There's a couple of different modes on here. The first one is the autofocus mode. And what that is just basically you just point, shoot, take a photo. The next one is infinity. So that's if you were saying instead of taking a portrait of someone that is right in front of you, you wanted to take maybe a landscape or something way in the distance. Putting that on there will let the camera know that you're looking for something more further out and in the distance, and will adjust it to get a good sharp focus of that. And it took me a little while to figure that out, but this last roll that I did really worked out, and I got some really good photos. You have an overexposure meter up here. I don't really touch that much. I know people that do, but I just generally leave it alone. On the actual lens, it actually turns for different apertures. Like I said, it goes from a 2.8, so you get that shallow depth of field for portraits, goes to 4, 5.6, 8, 11, and 16. Between 8 and 16 is really good for those like landscapes and things you're gonna be shooting far out and stuff like that. There's also 2 flash modes on here. A regular flash which just pops that flash, and then another one that does a double flash, and what that is really for is to focus on red eye. I don't know how it works, I don't know the science behind it or whatever, but the double flash reduces red eye in photos with portraits and stuff. There's a lot of software out there that could take care of it for you, but when this camera came out, that software was either not around or in its infancy. So this is a way to get that, red devil eye to not come into your photos. Another thing that I found out about this camera that I'll actually leave the link of where I read it in the description below is low light photography. This is a point and shoot, and it doesn't really do that great low light photography. And if you're trying to be sneaky or maybe just do something artistic or dramatic, the second you put it into 2.8, which gives it the biggest aperture with the most light, it automatically does the flash. And then after that, but if you put it into a flash mode and you tape the flash down, it's going to actually shoot at a shutter speed that's not going to be shaky. I have not tested this just yet. I would read the link below and learn a little bit more about it before you do it. I have not tried it yet. I will be trying that soon, but you just have to simply put tape over the flash and then put it into that mode, and you'll be able to take these like less shaky, darker kind of images at night, or maybe for artistic value. And then the last button up top is actually just a timer mode. You just click that on, press it, and then it blinks, and then it takes that photo for you. It's about 10 seconds. It's just another sort of timer. So that is this camera. Now, when I first started using it, I was really missing focus a lot, and I was super disappointed. I was like, great, I just bought this really expensive point-and-shoot camera, and it's worthless. But after a while and playing around with it, I actually was able to finally figure out and get some good photos. And about a week or two ago, I actually took a walk around my studio here in Brooklyn outside where there's a lot of graffiti, a lot of art, and just took a bunch of snapshots. And then later that night, was on my roof in my apartment with my friends and just like enjoying the beautiful day, and took a couple of photos up there. And I'd say out of a lot of them, they came out really good. And then later that night, when I was on the roof with a couple of my friends, just enjoying the one spring day we had, and I got a couple of photos. As you can see, when I took a couple of photos of my friends, my friends are actually blurry, but behind them is sharp. The reason for that is because I wasn't having them in that dead center of focus points, and also I might have been a little too close to them. I think there's about a foot or 2 feet of distance you have to have between a subject for portraits. I'm going to test it out on a couple of more people and see what happens, but I think that might have been the reason, and also it wasn't focusing. To best get the focus on this camera too, when you're looking in the camera, you'll see up in the corner, and I'll actually show this, there is where it shows you the exposure, the shutter speed. And then at the bottom, there's a little green light. When that green light shows up, that means you're in focus. So once I started to look for that green light, all my photos started to come in sharper. So it's definitely something you want to pay attention to. Make sure that green light is on. And if it is, that means most of the time your shots will be nice and sharp. Again, this was just a really quick, once over review, once over kind of impressions of this camera. Like I said, when I first got it, I had a lot of trouble, but now I really know what I'm doing with it. I really enjoy it. I take it with me as wherever I go. I just stick it in my jacket pocket with a roll of film in there and just start shooting things. It's usually either between this or my Canon AE1 program that I take out with me, depending on what I'm feeling that day. But this is more for just I'm just going out, let me grab a camera. It's good to have. It takes regular 35mm film. They are a little expensive nowadays because they become so popular, but they're still a great camera, and I highly suggest picking them up. You could find them on eBay and everything. But again, you could see more of these photos I took with this Contax on my Instagram, which you can actually follow right here. If you check it out, I've been posting a couple of photos that I've taken with this camera, as well as just putting up some other photos I've been taking. But please follow me on Instagram so you can see these and check it out. But that's really about it. Thanks again for watching. If you could thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have a Contax and have thought of other things that I didn't mention, please put it in the comments below. If you want to talk about a couple of other things, please leave a comment, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.